Good morning, televiewers, and welcome to the last edition of The Brief, live on My Media Prime Television, a program where we get to dig several layers beneath the major headlines as relayed by newspapers in the country. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are telling us that President Paul Biya has once again waded into the teachers' strike in the country by providing necessary instructions to his ministers to take charge of the striking teachers. We shall tell you more in this edition of the program, and more condemnations keep streaming in after the gruesome killing of the Fon of Esu in Menchum Division of the Northwest region of Cameroon. Yesterday, the senior divisional officer for Menchum Division issued a release detailing the circumstances surrounding the death of the ruler. And equally, he said investigations have been opened to bring to book those behind the killing of the traditional ruler and wife. We shall equally tell you about what is happening in the Northwest and Southwest as the American Congress is questioning the U.S. government over what the terms of support to the B of Cameroon in committing atrocities in the Northwest and Southwest region. We shall tell you more about the lawmakers or U.S. lawmakers who are debating on the support or military support being given to the government of the Republic of Cameroon by the U.S. government. Bomotonguina Gwladys is here as usual. Let's close the week together. We watch together in the French language newspapers. Bonjour Gwladys et bon week-end à toi.
Merci beaucoup Lasha Kisli, bon week-end à toi aussi. Bonjour à vous et merci de rester fidèle à Debrief, votre émission bilingue de revue de presse sur My Media Prime Télévision. Alors, effectivement, la presse francophone est meublée par la grève des enseignants. Alors, ce matin, nous allons débuter avec le journal La Nouvelle Expression qui parle effectivement de la grève des enseignants. L'OTS qui rejette les mesures du gouvernement, les mesures prises par le gouvernement. Le collectif qui tient la grève reproche au gouvernement de vouloir rouler les seigneurs de la craie dans la farine. Et les grévistes brandissent donc des précédents où les pouvoirs publics ont déjà usé de la rébellion ou bien de leur bon vouloir pour fier leur intégration dans la fonction publique. Les détails sont donc en page 6 et 7 de ce journal. En page 2, le journal nous parle du massacre de Ngarbou. La justice est donc en difficulté pour parler effectivement du fait que jusqu'au jour d'aujourd'hui, rien n'a été fait, aucune information n'a été donnée après le massacre de Ngarbou. Nous continuons toujours dans le journal La Nouvelle Expression qui nous parle de la crise socio-politique au Cameroun. Les Camerounais sont donc exercés entre les débats ou bien les problèmes, les meurtres qui se produisent dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest. Nous restons toujours dans le journal La Nouvelle Expression qui nous parle du Parlement au Cameroun. Quel enjeu pour l'ordinaire de la session de mars 2022. Nous continuons ce matin toujours avec le journal Le Jour qui nous parle de la grève des enseignants, opération Crémotte. Les grévistes rejettent les propositions du gouvernement. Mercredi dernier, le président de la République a instruit à certains ministères concernés une série de mesures en vue de détendre l'atmosphère, mais le mouvement On a trop supporté n'en est pas satisfait et maintenant le mot d'ordre est donc donné. Les détails sont en page 2 et 3 de ce journal. Toujours dans le journal Le Jour, le procès de Vamouké Abba, ce n'est jamais ce qui sera donc fait par le gouvernement camerounais. L'ancien ministre des Finances a parlé de son œuvre devant la barre. Nous terminons donc ce matin avec le journal L'économie quotidien qui nous parle de l'évaluation, la balance commerciale toujours déficitaire. C'est ce que révèle l'Institut national de statistique dans son rapport sur les comptes nationaux du Cameroun pour le compte du troisième trimestre 2021. Les détails sont donc en page 5 de ce journal. Page 3, le journal nous parle de la grève des enseignants. 8 mesures du gouvernement pour ressusciter la craie, pour amener les enseignants à rentrer dans leurs activités. Une annonce qui, bien sûr, ne les satisfait pas puisqu'ils ont rejeté toutes ces mesures qui leur ont été proposées. Mesdames, Messieurs, c'est ici que nous nous arrêtons pour ces titres en langue française. Place à la découverte de ces titres en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Bomotonguina. Gladys, let's kickstart this morning with the post-weekend, not only the post, the Voice Weekend newspaper. The Voice Weekend is revisiting the sad incident in Menchum division of the Northwest region where the traditional ruler of Isu was reportedly killed by armed men. The Voice newspaper is telling us this morning that royalty in blood, will king and wives killers been haunted? Down, that's a question the paper is asking this morning. We take you to Municipal Updates. Municipal Updates newspaper is also interested in the killing of the Fon of Esu in Menchum division of the Northwest region. The paper is telling us that Wei Mons condemns killing of Esu Fon and wife. And still in Municipal Updates newspaper, as Royal Majesty Mbu II coronated, new era in Wei village in Menchum division of the Northwest region of Cameroon. Tributes inundate, and the Wei cream other dignitaries attended the ceremony which saw the Fon coronated, as we are told by Municipal Updates newspaper. Equally get Municipal Updates publishers tribute or homage to the new Wei ruler, only in this edition of the set newspaper. And equally get to know the new king of Wei village in Menchum division of the Northwest region, his profile, what he's been doing in his community before becoming the ruler of his community. More details in this edition of Municipal Updates newspaper. On to Chronicle Times newspaper. Chronicle Times newspaper this morning is interested in the response of President Paul Biya to the plight of teachers in Cameroon. The paper writes, Biya responds big to teachers' plight. The President of the Republic of Cameroon has ordered the immediate acceleration of administrative and financial engagements to address all concerns of the teachers. Politicians have been accused of manipulating and intoxicating teachers despite government's efforts to resolving the problems or the plight of the teachers. Over to Menchum division of the Northwest region. SDO condemns and opens an investigation on the killing of Esu Fon and wife. Esu Fon and wife who were killed on their way back from Wei village, where they went for the coronation of the new traditional ruler of Wei village in that part of the country. And still with Chronicle Times newspaper, Gokutunja women urged to be peace ambassadors. This was during the celebration of the 37th edition of the International Women's Day, chaired by Kweton Handisi, who is the Senior Divisional Officer for Gokutunja Division of the Northwest region of Cameroon. Over there in the Southwest region, Southwest Regional Assembly, councillors gain knowledge on the budget and the financial management. Thank you for watching, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. We are back in the studio to continue with our discussions this morning, and we are welcoming Amadou Tarnteh, who is a human rights activist or defender coming from an NGO that has been involved or is currently working on some of the human rights violations in the Northwest and Southwest regions of the country. Amadou, good morning and welcome once again.
Good morning once more. Thank you for the privilege again. As even though I've been absent here for a short period of time, but I'm
work for Conscience Africaine.
Yes,
your NGO.
Conscience Africaine. Yes, it's a privilege for me to be back on the studio once more. Thank you for.
Yeah, welcome, sir. And we kickstart this morning with what happened in Wei village in the Northwest region of the country, where the traditional ruler of Isu village, on her way from Wei village to install the new traditional ruler of Wei, was gruesomely murdered on the way alongside his wife.
It's really ridiculous, it's regrettable that 6 years after this current armed conflict, we are still recording issues as such on daily basis, even though most what happened in Wei, what happened to the Fon of Wei, according to the investigation we have been carrying on the ground up till now, it's not clear whether it's linked to the separatist fighters or not, but we have a lot of stuff from different sources on the ground who are telling us that it is the armed militia of the Fulani headsmen or Fulani men who have been involved in the acts. When I was trying to find out why the Fulani are being accused on this issue, we're informed that for the past time, within this 1 week, we have had more than 3 or 4, or for the past 1 month, we have more than 5 or 7 or 8 different villages have been attacked still by these Fulani headsmen. Well, even though the Fulani headsmen involved in these acts are definitely not the ones who are arrested in a way, because from our investigation, so our sources told us that these Fulani headsmen might either be coming from Nigeria, and that most of them are coming from Nigeria, and we have been sponsored by some elites or some influential elites in the area to come and cause this atrocity, either because of their cattle were destroyed by separatist fighters and all the like. So since most of them does not know the difference between a current armed conflict and the farmers grazers conflict that has been existed between them, so sometimes when the separatist fighters attack these Fulani headsmen, they misinterpret things and instead turn to attack the population of the village, maybe thinking that the villagers are in the support of separatist fighters, not knowing very well that no one is safe, be it for the separatist fighters or the defense forces that are directly involved in the conflict.
Why would some elites decide to train armed militia, to, keep or watch over the population? Meanwhile, we have security and defense forces operating in that part of the area. This is not only in Menchum division. In Donga Mountain, we equally have some vigilante groups operating there, still funded by some elites of the area.
According to our investigation so far, we have had information that some of these influential elites feel threatened by the activities of the separatist fighters ever since the crisis started. So since most of the activities on the ground has been destroyed, they have either decided to bring in most of these Fulani men from Nigeria to be causing atrocity within the village. They either cause confusion between the separatist fighters and the population and so the things like that. Because someone told us that, someone on the ground told us that this chief could be attacked just in a way to attack the separatist fighters, so that the population might either wake up in the area against separatist fighters so as to drive them out of the locality.
But would the collateral damage go up to the level of a fund, killing a traditional ruler?
It's really
how selfish we've become.
No, this one is terrible. So most of us we grew up in these areas and we have funds, and people know how we respect them, how they are respectable. And when they come to attacking a fund, it's something very bad. That we are praying that at least we thank, from the information on the ground, at least let me say thank the government here for the immediate deployment of the defense and security force, because we have been reliably informed that the defense and security forces were deployed immediately on the ground, and they did everything possible to make sure that they calmed the situation. But that notwithstanding, we are praying that the government should not only end it, they should dig into the root cause of this issue and make sure that the problem is addressed.
But we've always had this issue of farmer grazier problem, but we've never gotten to the level of where traditional rulers have to be killed.
Yeah, that's why there's a problem. That's the issue why we keep on saying that when there's a problem, like the crisis we are going through, it needs to be resolved. The government or the conflicting parties will do everything possible to resolve the problem as early as possible, because the more the problem keeps skyrocketing, the more the damages keep increasing, and the more of the violations and abuses keep increasing. So that's why we keep on saying, calling on the government to do everything as well with separatist leaders to do everything as possible to make sure that they address the current and phone crisis as fast as possible, because in as much as the crisis keep increasing or keep delaying resolve the problem. That's why we are going to continue having a lot of casualties on the ground. So it's the same thing with the farmers grazers conflict, because this issue has been going on for a long time, and because according to some of the people, we received some audio from another person on the ground who sent to us by voice note telling us, in fact, the person had contacted another Fulani headsman who attacked a group of people in Munduru, another village still in Menchum division, and we took away the phone of the prince of Munduru. They went away with the phone. When they called the guy was saying that he's at the border between Cameroon and Nigeria, and about to cross to Nigeria. So like threatening them, telling them that their mission is not finished. They'll keep coming there to carry out those attacks. But it was really a voice of a Fulani. When you listen to their voice, you will understand that it was really actually a Fulani.
So why would Nigeria even allow its citizens to be used by these people? Does it mean that is it not going to cause some kind of diplomatic incidents on both countries?
No, actually, this thing can cause a lot of diplomatic problems within the two countries. Even though from what we are told, the border between the Menchum division and Nigeria is another area where Nigeria will have serious security crisis ongoing in the area. So some people are even suspecting that this armed militia may have flee away from the conflict in that area and rush to Cameroon to maybe under the guide of some of the Fulani herdsmen on the ground to go around, begin to commit all these type of atrocities.
Okay, Gwladys.
Ok, effectivement, au jour d'aujourd'hui, en dehors du problème que nous avons entre les Fulanis et la société Sioux dans le nord-ouest, on a un autre problème au Cameroun, c'est la grève des enseignants. Et on a un lot de mesures que le président de la République, son Excellence Biya, a pris pour les enseignants, sauf que jusqu'ici, les enseignants ne sont pas satisfaits et ont rejeté ces mesures.
Okay, let me start here first by saying that rights, as we all know, they are claimed, they are not given, but they are seized. So we have to seize their rights, even though the government of Cameroon have exaggerated, because it's regrettable that we see teachers, for noble professionals as such, that are being treated in the way they are treated by Cameroon here, because we know very well that teachers are one of the most important professionals in Cameroon, and because virtually all of us pass through them, and we know they are important, but our government is not valuing the importance of these teachers.
Is it not the most important profession in Cameroon?
That's what I'm saying, that the teaching profession is one of the most important profession here in Cameroon, but they are treated as beggars. So these teachers have to come out and strike before the government think of paying their dues and paying their salaries. Why we're even told that some of the people have died as a sort of hardship. Meanwhile, they are saving the government for more than 10 or 20 years, something as such, without receiving their normal dues that they are supposed to be receiving.
Effectivement, parce que jusqu'au jour d'aujourd'hui, les enseignants pensent que en fait, les mesures qui ont été prises, c'est pour les rouler ou bien les rouler dans la farine et ne pas effectivement résoudre leurs problèmes.
Yeah, so the teachers they are right, because we know our government very well. So it's important that some of them wait for the presidential decree to be implemented as well, so that make sure
but the question many people are asking: what is the use of the ministries of basic and secondary education, including that of public service and administrative reforms? Must they wait on President Biya to give instructions before they go about carrying their tasks?
It's really ridiculous for us to start seeing things.
Because there's a document that the teachers they deposited at the level of the government since 2002, talking about the augmentation of salaries to 280 and 250,000 francs respectively for category A1 and A2. Teachers, talking also about electricity bills and whatever. Those measures or those plights of the teachers are what we read that they had been deposited at the level of the government since 2002. Why is it that the government is taking so long for the government to implement? When in other countries, teachers are earning more than 400,000 francs.
Teachers deserve more than what they are earning, because if you look critical to other neighboring countries here, you realize that even some of the primary schools are earning more than university lecturers here in Cameroon, because everything in Cameroon has been done in a very terrible way. And with regard to the situation of they are passing through the ministry and other, because it's very clear here in an autocratic regime, like in the case we have here in Cameroon, most of all the decisions are taken only at the level of the presidency. Most of these teachers are just...
Does it mean that our ministers are useless?
These ministers in reality are useless, but just in reality.
No. But don't you think...
democratic country, these ministers were supposed to have their real power.
Who takes the blame? Is it... Who is holding their power? Is it President Biya?
The dictator himself is the one that decides on their appointment and to revoke them.
How can you say... So when he gives instruction like now that money should be disbursed and somebody decides to keep...
Like the document that we have seen that you have signed since 2021.
Yes,
and
it's now that we are seeing the document.
Sometimes when it arrives at the place, the money is not even there, because most of the money, we know that most of these ministers spend their time looking for ways to steal money instead of...
So who is to blame? That's a question. Is it President Biya or...
Yes, also blame on all this, because he is the one that...
Can we really say that the money is not there? Because we have seen ministers here in Cameroon have embezzled a lot of billions.
The problem is that Cameroon coffers, Cameroon treasury does not have much money, but we have in private pockets of this minister who have a lot of money.
So they have become the public treasury.
To resolve
we keep saying that the president should make sure that he addresses this problem now. Because when he realizes somebody is not doing his job well, the president has the right to sack the person and terminate the contract of the person.
Was sacking the person bring back the money in the coffers?
Sack the person, and by that, when the person is sent to prison, they make sure that they carry out all thorough investigation for the person to do everything possible for the person to refund the money. Because detaining the person in prison without taking back the money does not even make any sense.
Because how will somebody leave school and work for 10 years without having salary? Is that fair?
No, the reality here is that those who are working for 10 years and above without having salary are those that don't have either connection or have money to...
But do you need to have connection when your files are
that's the reality. When you come out of this ENS and all that, when you want your salary to start passing as fast as possible, you need to look for a middleman, pay the middleman to go and follow up your document for your files to come, for your money to come. If you don't do that, then you have to wait until grass will grow on your legs and even on your...
But there are some that have complained. Il y a certains qui se sont plaints qu'on leur demande de donner 20% de leur dû avant de pouvoir voir leurs documents.
C'est exactement ce que je suis en train de... Oui, c'est exactement ce que je suis en train de dire. Parce que c'est la réalité dans le terrain.
On ne peut pas dire en
But
même temps que
you
c'est
human
le
rights
ministre qui
activists,
fait
what
ça.
are you doing in Cameroon to ensure that the rights of the teachers are respected? Because I've not heard any of you said anything since the teachers, the movement, on a true souffle.
No, we have been doing a lot of things with our own regime. No, we know very well that the only language that this regime, the dictatorial regime of President Pobia understands better is the pressure. So we have been doing everything possible within our own reach to put our own pressure to make sure that the call the government to order to make sure that they respect the rights of this teacher and make sure that all their dues are reinstalled without any waste of time.
But what is the reason? Pourquoi est-ce que vous appelez ce régime d'être dictatorial? Parce que jusqu'ici, on a quand même la liberté d'expression. On peut dire ce qu'on veut sur les plateaux.
That's why you're even talking.
No, it's true that this the freedom of expression, we know very well in the 90s, a lot of people died because as a result of that, but it's considered a lot of limit. When you see like what happened to another whistleblower, where our man with no Paul shooter, we see what happened to him. So in the context as such, I wouldn't say that the freedom of that expression. Sometimes we publish something and people, so a group of individuals would are still within the regime, do everything possible to make sure that they kill you on the background to say that no, it's because of all type of stories, the terrible stories. I will know very well they are the ones that are responsible behind most of these acts, which is very
So
terrible.
how do we get out of this situation? Because from the document which came out yesterday, that was during a press conference by this government spokesperson, René Emmanuel Sadi. We saw how the minister listed the plights of the teachers, and they said some money were going to be paid the teachers. But the most pressing things that the teachers are asking, we didn't see it in the communique.
So that's the reason why the teachers are still striking, and the more reason why we believe that this government is very good in telling us stories or writing communiques and others, but implementation of the decision still remains a major problem. That's why this is first of all one.
Does it mean that somebody is not telling President Paul Biya the truth about what the teachers are going through in this country?
No, President Paul Biya is the most informed. As we keep hearing from some of the collaborators, he's the most informed Cameroonian. If President Paul Biya is not taking a good decision to solve this problem, it means that President Paul Biya does not like this teacher, or he does not like Cameroonian in general, because we know that when the teachers are not having a good standard of living, our students will suffer and the nation will suffer as a whole.
Mais vous ne pouvez pas le dire ainsi parce que jusqu'ici, lorsqu'on écoute le communiqué, lorsqu'on lit le communiqué du président de la République, il a bien précisé au ministre de l'enseignement secondaire et primaire
administrative and financial
que les dossiers qui sont dans leur bureau doivent être traités. Donc, on parle ici des dossiers qui sont dans leur bureau depuis plus de 20 ans et qui n'ont pas été traités et que le président de la République demande à ce que ces dossiers soient traités.
Yeah, and he said that the president might have signed what he signed, and before the document gets the money are not available, so they are doing everything possible to make sure that they.
Comment est-ce qu'on peut dire que l'argent n'est pas disponible lorsqu'on a vu la CAN être préparée à près de 3 000 milliards de dollars?
No, these people have their own things that they value more than others. So as you keep saying, even the minister of the
more than the teacher, more than the children, nation building,
than paying salaries to teachers. So they value those cars more than their salaries of teachers.
On peut comprendre ici que la jeunesse camerounaise, on n'en a rien à foutre au jour d'aujourd'hui au regard des actions de l'administration camerounaise.
Yeah, actually that's the reality, because with the youth they have no place in Cameroon, especially with the current regime in place. So that's why we keep saying that Cameroonians do everything possible to make sure that in the nearest election they vote out the current regime for us to have a new blood or new youth with new ideas, so that things might change, because there's nothing is moving here in Cameroon. Everything
and the teachers say no way, they are not going back to the classrooms.
That's it, and it's our students that are suffering, and the nation, because the future of the students. We are just having a short period of time before the exam, and the future of our children is really at jeopardy for the past 2 or 3 weeks.
Est-ce que par là, on a besoin de comprendre qu'en fait ces examens ne valent pas la peine au Cameroun, parce qu'en même temps, avant que ces enseignants ne décident de gréver, on a eu une semaine ou deux où on a demandé aux élèves de ne pas être en classe constamment parce qu'il y avait la CAN.
No, that's why I was saying, because the regime in place does not value this education. Well, first of all, the teachers in class, they are most of the teachers, those who are not receiving their salaries, they don't spend their time to teach the children well, because they are not happy. We know when you are not happy, you cannot take your time to teach the students, and when they are happy, and you make sure that you give the children the best that they have to know. That's the reason why sometimes some of us who came out of the school, by university, or others, some keep questioning the knowledge, the important, the skills, or the knowledge we have acquired in this school. Sometimes we don't understand what is really happening in Cameroon.
Mais comment expliquer qu'un gars qui sort du lycée, entre dans l'école normale, vient être un boss, c'est-à-dire un censeur peut-être, dans le lycée où son enseignant est encore professeur?
No, we are in a country where everything is done by connection. When you know somebody at the higher place, at the regime, the ministry, and all the rest, it's very possible for you to leave him at the ENS and become a principal at the same time. When meanwhile, there are people who have been working for more than 20 years and remain classroom teachers.
Our time is up, Amadou, Tarnteh. Thank you so much for coming, and do have a great weekend. We hopefully will be with you again next week, God willing. And thank you to televiewers of My Media Prime Television for watching this very last edition of the program for the week, which was produced for us by Christain, Tebong. We were Bomotonguina, Gwladys, and myself, Lasha. Do have a great weekend. Bye-bye.